What do you think the chances are? Everybody's got Wemby locked up for this Rookie of the Year, but
it's not a lock. It's not a lock.
Everybody's forgotten Chet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're talking about Scoot, we're talking about Wemby, we're talking about, Thompson twins, all these guys. But Chet he's going to pull the Blake Griffin, right? Which is I got drafted 1 year, but the next year. And then, of course, everybody got mad that he won Rookie of the Year because he's not technically a rookie. But Chet kind of started off slow in the Utah one. But, man, they are running him out there because I was surprised that he played in Vegas. But they played him in Utah the whole time. And now he's playing in Vegas. And it looked like, they got another one maybe in Casey Wallace, who
they got a lot of them.
Yeah, they got. I mean, we talk about how much promise that team has, and obviously Presti's had some really good hits over the years.
Chet definitely has a shot though over Wemby. There's a real chance. I mean, first of all, like Oklahoma City could be they could win more games straight off the bat. They could be a more winning team. People could look at Chet as a guy contributing to a winner. They could put up comparable numbers. That could be a tiebreaker there. And with Chet, I mean, look, it's just the reality of it. He has had a year to prepare for his rookie season.
That's right.
And with Chet Holmgren, I mean, he added the weight. Victor still needs to add some weight. Chet Holmgren, like, they're similar types of players. Chet's probably even slightly ahead on defense right now. Victor has longer term upside to be greater than Chet. But Chet is unbelievable. He does a lot of the same things. He's in an ecosystem with so much other talent with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, both Jalen Williams, Josh Giddey, where he could be super efficient.
Yep.
He could have opportunities to prove himself as a creator as well. That OKC team, I think on paper, especially if SGA gets even better as he has every year of his career, like they could be to compete for a 6 seed.
They were close.
Seed, a top 6 seed.
They were close last year to being in there.
They were right in there, yes.
And no, I liked what I saw from Chet. I mean, you could see the glimpses. The other thing is, and this may be a function of playing at Gonzaga in big games also, may just be his demeanor, but if we're comparing the two, he plays more physical now. He's willing to get in the mix a little bit more than I think people recognize. He's not a shrinking violet. When it comes to like ball comes off the rim, he fights.
He's an MFer, man. He's the opposite.
I like it.
Is there anybody else that could be like a sleeper for it? Keontae George from Utah.
Keontae George was crazy yesterday.
33 points.
Yeah. Well, he also had, I believe it was 10 assists.
Yeah.
In the game, or was it? I think it was. Let me get this right. Yeah, 10 assists in the game.
Yeah, Keontae, he lost, I don't know, like 10, 15 pounds. He looks lean. He looks fast. He looks like he's super explosive right now. The thing I had Keontae, I'm almost disappointed. Like I had him at one point, start of the year in January when I launched the big board, was number 6 on my board. He ended up at 14 because the second half of the year was super up and down. Some mixed reports pre-draft and all that. Like there's still concerns with like playmaking, with decision making on the court, but I like him a lot. Like he was still a lottery pick in my eyes. And now for Utah, that situation, he's one of those types of players where, like, we talked about Jalen Pickett. Remember Jalen Pickett as a second rounder? Oh, he lands with Denver. Oh, I would have ranked him way higher if I knew he would have landed with the Denver Nuggets. Keontae George, same thing as a first rounder. If I knew he would have landed with the Utah Jazz with Lauri Markkanen already there, after drafting Taylor Hendricks, all the wings that they have, like Baji, Walker Kessler protecting the basket, I would have ranked him probably closer to 6, like where it was kind of flat after that top 4 or 5. It's like Keontae George, he's showing all of the skills that make him a super appealing player. And I wonder, could he be a sleeper pick for Rookie of the Year? I don't have the odds in front of me, but I know they're not high.
Yeah,
for sure. They're definitely not higher than a Scoot. They're definitely not higher than a Thompson twin. I wonder if he could be the guy that ends up running that offense, gets a ton of opportunities, and puts up good numbers.
Let me tell you something. Keontae George signed with Mike Miller. And I'm going to tell you a little story. I don't think I've ever talked about this, but...
Not even on your local?
No. But this is one of those where Orlando Magic fans are going to have to swear by me till the end of time when I tell this story. So you remember after last year, the draft, Paolo wasn't supposed to go number one. There was Jabari, and there were some other names that were in there, but Paolo
Jabari
wasn't.
1, Chet 2, then Banchero 3 to Houston.
That's right.
Was the noise.
That's what everybody thought, and so. Anyways, and that was what was going to happen. And Mike Miller was his agent. And so I get a random text. This is the week before the draft. And so I get this random text and it says, hey, Mike Miller was on Ringer NBA show when I was doing it with you, when I first started out. And I've talked about this on the air before, where he told me that he thought Nikola Jokic, and this is in like 2016 or something, Nikola Jokic could be like a 10-time All-Pro. And it was ridiculous at the time to think that. He's like, I'm telling you, this guy is the one. Mm-hmm. This guy's going to be the guy. And so anyways, he wanted me to find this podcast that we had done years ago. And I thought, oh, he needs this because he's trying to recruit a client, whatever. You know, there he is talking about Jokic and how good he's going to be and whatever else. And so got an eye for talent. And so anyways, long story short, I send the pod to him. And so about 3 weeks later, I saw him and I said, hey man, I said, I hope you got whoever you needed after I sent that pod. And he's like, no. And he walks up to me and he goes, I need to thank you. And I was like, what? And he said, the kid decided he wanted to go number one in the draft. At that point, I got to be an agent. And that's why I asked you for that. He said, I sent that podcast to the Magic and I said, I want you to listen to this. I don't miss. I swear to God, I don't miss. And it was him talking about Jokic on the Ringer.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, kid gets number one. Tracking it back, he's got Keontae George. If he's right and he doesn't miss, you know what I mean? That was his highest draft pick this year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Keontae George has that. I mean, like, you know, the thing that everybody loves about Scoot, that it factor. Keontae has some of that too. He does.
Yes.
Right? I think Keontae, like the last three he hit to get the 33rd point, like it was like this kind of off balance, like his feet weren't set, launched himself midair, take a three. It was one of the, he was like almost surprised by himself type of shots. And he does all those crazy things, but he also does like the fundamentals. And he's a good character kid.
Yep.
And he plays hard. He's not just like some scoring guard. He plays hard on defense. He's a willing passer. It's just about like rounding out the edges of his game.
I have not seen.
He could end up like top 5 redraft type of guy.